Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those new here, my name is Ayelet and I am the mother of an 18-month-old and I'm pregnant with my second. I share on here about Montessori in our home, respectful parenting, and all of that sort of stuff. So please subscribe if you're interested in any of that. Today I'm going to talk about DIY, easy DIY Montessori activities for 12 to 18-month-olds. So I think there's this sort of perception that Montessori is really focused on the toys and the shelves and their expensive wooden toys. Now, while you 100% can spend a lot of money on toys, some of which are actually not really Montessori, but you can 100% spend a lot of money on toys, you also don't have to. And I'll admit, I definitely have a collection of toys. Part of that's because DIYs are not really my thing. So what I'm sharing here are DIYs we have loved because they are simple. These are really easy, simple DIYs. I don't buy supplies for DIYs. That's something that's just I really don't do in general. I don't really buy pom-poms. I don't really buy pipe cleaners and all of those things because if it's not something we're going to be using in general, I'm not going to buy it for a DIY because I don't want to store it. We live in a 750 square foot apartment. I don't have extra storage space for stuff like that. So my DIYs are simple. They're with things that you have around your home. What I hope to show in this video is Montessori doesn't have to be expensive. And yes, I do have these toys and I love them, but so much of this totally can be done with just what you have, with stuff in your kitchen, with things like that, and it can be thrown together in such simple DIYs. It was not built to be an incredibly expensive thing. I mean, the original Montessori materials were all DIYs. And while I might not be DIYing all of those, it is really cool to sort of see some of the stuff that I've been able to do. And it's been exciting to figure out ways to make some activities with stuff that we just have at home without buying anything new. I like not having too many things because, again, we live in a small space. So that's what I'm sharing in this video, and I hope you enjoy.
So here we have some DIYs from 12 to 18 months. While all of these I would consider Montessori-inspired, but not all strictly speaking Montessori. So here we have a couple pots and pans, and it is pots and pans top matching. This is something I learned in my Montessori certification, but it's a nice activity for size discrimination. It's like a DIY puzzle. This one is also a real favorite around here. This is a posting activity, posting Q-tips into a spice jar. It's really great fine motor work, and it was inspired somewhat by a toy we have, which also was using Q-tips into a posting thing, but this one is a nice DIY option, and a small one if you're taking it traveling or doing something like that. I will just put the Q-tips in it and close the top and bring that on trips. Of course, with this activity and with many, it's important to note that they should always be done supervised as they are using small parts. So the next activity is also using Q-tips, but this one is using an egg carton, and it has little holes in each part of the egg carton, so that's 12 different holes. And this works on the same fine motor skills, but it also works on one-to-one correspondence, which is an early math skill. So he's working on putting one Q-tip in one hole instead of trying to put, say, two Q-tips into one hole. So this is a very good activity for that, working on that one-to-one correspondence, since really only one Q-tip fits in at a time. That is good control of error as well, which is an important thing in Montessori materials. Here is another posting activity. This uses gift cards and a tissue box and was inspired by this activity, which is a coin drop that we have and we really enjoyed. So I wanted to see about doing a DIY version. And so I used the tissue box and cut a thin slit in it. I just did one little slit with a knife and then gave old gift cards, and he was able to post those through. And that was actually more challenging than the coin drop. But he really enjoyed it. And you could do a bigger hole to make it easier as well. He has been really into threading, so I wanted to look into doing a DIY threading activity. So that one was actually inspired by this threading activity, which came in our block set and we really enjoyed. It's a little different because it is a bit easier, and I did try to figure out other ways of doing a more complicated one. Since this is, bigger, a bigger pole and a bigger holes for it to go in. So I was looking for ideas for an easier one. I didn't really come up with anything fantastic. I have seen some using skewers or using pipe cleaners and pasta, so those are options to consider. but this one is just using paper towel rolls cut up and a wooden spoon. So that makes an easy threading activity. This activity is a bit less Montessori, but it was still a fun one. We put Magna-Tiles onto a muffin tray and put balls inside and had him transfer them out, take off the Magna-Tiles, that's some finger strengthening work, and transfer out the balls into the little bowl. This activity worked on transferring, scooping with a spoon, and also on hot and cold. So I had warm water in one bucket, and in the other one I had ice cubes. And so he's transferring the ice cubes into the warm water, and so experiencing how the ice cubes melt, and experiencing the different temperatures of water. He knew a lot about hot, but this was a way for him to learn a bit more about cold as well, and that they are opposites, and experience that science. This is another transferring activity. This one he used apples and transferred the apples from one bin to the other. You could do lemons or something like that for another season. This is also a transferring activity and a pretty classic Montessori one, using a sponge. So you put the sponge in the water, get water on it, and then he squeezes it out on into the other bucket or the other container. And that is some hand strengthening work as well. So that's a really nice transferring activity. This is traditionally done with smaller bowls, but I found that he just poured them, and this was a better way of doing it. If your child is in the trajectory schema or just loves to throw, this is a must-do. Just simply take a box and a basket of balls, have them throw it in. For an older child, you can put a line that they're standing on to throw, or you can even do it with crumpled pieces of paper, like with your recycling, as a way to throw it into the recycling and make it more of a practical life activity. This is a simple stacking activity using cans. You can use different size cans for more of a challenge. Some people express concern about them being heavy and hurting his toes, which they were totally safe. But if you are nervous about that, you could use paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls or something like that.
Thank you so much for joining and for seeing what we have been playing with for DIYs in the last 6 months, so from 12 to 18 months. Thank you so much. Let me know in the comments if you're trying any of them, if you've done any of them, if you enjoy them. I'd love to know. And if you're looking for more Montessori at home, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Thank you and have a good one.